Right now I have to stop saying
Oh, I played the drop, guys, but it was muted.
I'll
play it again.
You want to try
Right
again?
now I have to stop saying
We're off to a great start.
So here we are. Apparently we were on, but we weren't on because we didn't hear that we were on. But you saw the title card. And now we're on. Guess what? We're going to start a show, but we're not going to stop until,
Forever.
well, that's not entirely true. We'll have to start. We're doing a watch along tonight. Let's talk about it next year on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show.
Get ready, boys.
It is Wednesday. It is April the 16th, and this is the DLLS Stars Pregame Show for the 82nd and final time in the regular season. Can you believe we've done 82 of these now, counting tonight?
You guys
that's
have.
all.
That's it?
I thought we were doing a baseball season. It felt like
We're going to do twice as many, 164.
This felt like we
Yeah.
did.
Well, alongside Craig Ludwig and Sam Nestler and our producer, John Andersen, who I don't think is on camera. Oh, there he was. I'm Owen Newkirk. We may not see John until the watch along. We're going to do a watch along tonight, which means there's a separate YouTube channel or broadcast. It's not the one on this link, but there's another one. And we will have that for you. And you can watch the whole Stars game with us or watching us watch the game, which is a
sounds
weird,
exciting.
it's a weird Truman Show thing,
You're
isn't
a
it?
mile from the mic right now.
I'm going to kind of keep it like that.
So you'll get a little behind the scenes of how we
Turn us
watch
up.
the game, how John and Luds do some breakdowns to get ready for post game,
How many times
How
I
many-
use the bathroom?
leaving to go get food.
How many times we curse?
Yeah, it's a free.
Is it on delay?
Sam's going to come back with a
No,
plunger
there's-
dripping water.
There is a plunger in there now.
Is there?
Excellent
One.
addition to the DLS studio.
I think I just had a typo on that. Oh well, close enough. Looks like, guys, we are going to get a full strength Dallas Stars lineup. Let's start with the big one. Tyler Seguin activated off
Wait,
LTIR.
Miro's playing?
Well, okay.
Well, that's not full
That-
strength. then.
and Nils is out
Okay.
for the season. But
All right.
look at this. According to Leah Asimakopoulos from the Dallas Morning News, who's in Nashville tonight, not only is Tyler Seguin out on the ice for the warm-up, but it looks like Oscar Beck and Colin Blackwell will be healthy scratches. This was my guess of how they do it if they keep Rantanen with Johnson and Ben. Let's talk about that in a minute. But first and foremost, Tyler Seguin returning for the first time since December 1st, the last time he played a game. He had surgery on December 5th. And look, it's Sam Nestler Memorial Plunger. He's not dead. But
RIP.
anyway, Seguin had a FAI. I don't know how to say that middle word, Luds. I was going to look it up today and I forgot. Femoral acetabular impingement. I'm sure I botched that one.
It's the same as Leah's last name.
And it's easier to say Leah's last name. And a left side hip labrum repair. He was expected to miss 4 to 6 months. Today will be 4 months and 11 days. So on the very early side of the recovery, he's been ahead of schedule the whole rehab. It's a big night for Tyler Seguin.
He's been there, done that. So he knows his body well. Yeah, and I don't think it'd be great if we see the Tyler Seguin that played the first few weeks of the season, but don't count on that because he has to go through, make sure he feels the way he's supposed to feel, and play it by ear. And I think the biggest thing is what does he feel like in a couple days from now, because that'll kind of be a barometer for how he will or won't need to adapt anything when he gets into game one of the playoffs.
We all think that the Stars most likely will play game one against Colorado on Saturday in Dallas. We have no official word of it, but that's sort of the rumor mill that's going around based on schedules and things like that. So a game today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, is that the right amount of time for him?
Yeah, and, sometimes it's better the less there is because you can kind of get right back at it. I think when you end up having 4 or 5 days and then maybe you get sore and then it's a little bit more difficult to get going. So, and again, it may not even be then. It could be game 3, game 4, where something pops up, and hopefully everything is smooth and he feels good. But I think where the biggest thing is going to come in is the contact. That's where he's going to have to fight through little things, and there's probably always going to be some kind of worry in the back of your mind when you get hit, and if you feel something that isn't normal, did something pop loose or
I'm already laughing because Sam's got the mic up maybe that's as low as it goes, but
as low as it goes.
It looks like it's towering over him
This
from
is
my
low.
perspective.
I can't get it further.
I'm waiting for the short jokes to go, but anyway.
we want to give me
I need a mini.
I can get
I
you
feel
a phone
like his
book.
chair isn't high
Well,
enough.
maybe we can
Raise
get
the
you a
chair,
phone
Sam.
book.
The chair
they
is-
make phone books
is
anymore?
Low. There you go. I don't
Then
think
my
they
feet
do.
don't touch the ground. You guys can't see it, but my feet are literally swinging.
Well, that looks better because at least it goes up below your chin. So
Yeah.
Like
you're
Tom
down
Cruise
here.
in the Mission Impossible movies right now.
Just kick your feet back and forth.
Oh my!
Like, yeah, that 5'4" man is 6'2".
Hey, just sit still. We don't want you getting hurt.
Sorry. Yeah, that's a good point.
Sam, you've been covering practice off and on the last couple of weeks. Tyler Seguin seems like he's had a ton of energy. Obviously, loves the joy of playing and practicing. I would imagine he'll be a huge lift for this team, both on and off the ice.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing in general is looking at what he brings away from his game. We don't know how good he's going to be. We don't know how many games it's going to take to get ready. What we do know is he's going to bring a ton of energy. He's going to bring fun, smiles. It's going to be really a big lift for a team that right now is going through it, and they're shrugging it off as a team. They're talking about not caring about the losses and things like that have been going on lately, but it's got to be weighing on you. You're not scoring a ton of goals. You're not winning games. You're not defending well. This will be a big lift for this team, and I think Sean talked about it a bunch. Jamie Benn's a better captain when Tyler Seguin is in the room with him.
Mhm.
Joe Pavelski obviously was the double on that one. So I think the off the ice might even be more important and more impactful than his on the ice.
So let's take a look at this as what a possibility here, guys. The Stars forward lines, we don't know for sure. I'll let you know as soon as
Leah just tweeted them.
we
She just got
just did. Look at that. Okay, so we do know
Who
now.
I like.
All right, Luds, here's what we got. And guess what? It's exactly what I guessed. So take a look at the lines on the screen and give me your initial reactions of the Stars lining up tonight. They're going to keep Rantanen with Johnston and Ben. Robertson and Hintz will play with Mikael Granlund. Look at that. Marchment, Duchesne, and Seguin. No-brainer to me. And then Dodonov, Steele, and Bork will be your fourth line, meaning Blackwell and Beck are the healthy scratches.
I'm wondering why Rantanen and Granlund are flipped, and I just wonder if it's maybe about matchups because I mean he played every single game with the other two guys, so that's the one that surprises me right now.
Is that matchups for Colorado, not matchups for Nashville?
Yeah, no. I just think if they're going to play against Colorado, obviously anything that they're doing now, in my opinion, what they should have been doing for the last 3 games is going to be getting prepared to play game 1 of the playoffs. And so, we talked about this is that, with Mikko, Colorado knows exactly how he plays and they know how good he can be. And I think they're going to find a way to take him away and somebody else can beat them besides that guy. And so when you look at who he plays with, and I truly what I think will happen is they're going to start moving them all over the place. I think get used to playing with Jamie and Wyatt because you're going to play with 6 or 7 different people. Hopefully, if Tyler comes back and that line can pick up where they left off, you don't touch that, right? And now all of a sudden you can take Rantanen and you can pop him around, try to get him away from matchups if you need to. So that to me, it's like okay, exactly how Robo and Hintz play, so let's get used to playing with Wyatt and Jamie for a little bit.
A random question real quick before we move on. Do you see any difference? Because a lot of people said, Seguin might play on a 4th line for a game or whenever he comes back. Do you see any difference between putting him back with this line or playing him maybe a 4th line?
No, but my thing is I wouldn't put him on the 4th line. I think if anything, you put him down and you can manage his minutes from there, and then you kind of let him get into the game because when the other two guys are they've been at top speed here now for a while. And so Tyler's hoping to get up there. I just wonder sometimes you want to ease him into the minutes that he's getting into and have Tyler and you tap him on the shoulder. You good? Yeah. Okay, we're good. I feel good. I played a game or half of a game now. Put me there. But I think you're going to see Tyler popping all over the place. And we'll see it'll be interesting to see how Tyler goes about himself. Is he going to take short shifts? Is he going to stay out there? And because again, he's been training and he's been skating and stuff like that, but it's not the same way when you got guys that are tugging on you and holding you and trying to finish their checks and things like that. And so it'll be interesting how Tyler goes about his game tonight. More for me.
He's going to finish his checks.
Well, speaking of having to get Tyler in the lineup, they had to send Liam Bischel and Alexander Petrovic down to the AHL so that they could activate Tyler from LTIR, little salary cap gymnastics. And because of that, that means that we will not have any more maintenance nights for Esa Lindell and Thomas Harley. Take a look at the defense, and other than the possible order of the pregame skate where they had Lindell, Ceci as the first pairing, but it's Lindell and Ceci, Harley and Lyubushkin, Smith and Dumba, with the big hope that, of course, or the expectation is Bischel in for Smith for game 1 against the Avalanche, and then the long-term hope if Miro Heiskanen forces one of those 6 to have to be a healthy scratch at some point in the series. We'll see about that. But Luds, there is an inherent risk. In order to get Tyler Seguin a game tonight, you can't sit out Harley and Lindell. I know the Stars were trying to be safe, but you also have said that it's playing safe sometimes can be a bad thing for a club.
I don't think they're trying to protect anybody. I think it's just about rest. It's got nothing to do with anybody getting hurt. And to me, these are the same kind of games. I mean, this is a game where you want them to go at 100%. And listen, you got no reason not to. You've sucked for 2 weeks now. Your game is not in order right now. And so this has got to be a game tonight that's all – Dallas's game is all about Dallas. It's how you play in all 3 zones tonight. It's how you commit to killing penalties, how you commit to the power play, how you commit to pucks going in, not turning pucks over, because that's what you're going to have to do against Colorado. I mean, you have to approach this almost like it's game 1 of the playoffs for you, and you've got to get your game back, and you have no more excuses right now because everybody's in the lineup right now. And, yeah, one of those other – it may be Bischel. I don't know who's going to be in there, but somebody else will be in the lineup.
Would you be disappointed tonight if the game went – let's not say
like all the rest of them?
Yeah, but let's not say it's horrible, but let's say they lose 3-2, and Pete and the team kind of say – doesn't matter. We're moving on. We're ready for the game.
Of course they're going to say that.
Well, yeah, they're going to say that. We've heard that when they
but we don't want them
very
to,
good,
right?
But what
seems important.
You can say suck.
The score doesn't. I don't care about the score tonight. I could care less. It's about how they play, because I'm playing this. I'll watch the game tonight about how I think Colorado's going to play against them and go, you can't play like that right there. Even I don't care if you're playing against one of their third line guys tonight. You have to prepare that you're playing against Nichushkin, you're playing against, again, McKinnon, you're playing against Makar. I wish they had Yossi in the lineup tonight, to be totally honest with you, because that would be more closer to what you have to see from Colorado when Makar versus, any of the other defensemen that they have that they're going to have to be aware of. Obviously, they know what they have to be aware of. There's no secrets here with Colorado.
Jake Oettinger gets the start. We weren't sure whether he would before the game against Detroit. Then we watched the game and said, oh, boy, he needs to start because clearly that's there. So, Sam, what do you want to see from Jake Oettinger tonight?
I just want to see him tracking the puck and feeling confident. It's, as Lud said, the score doesn't matter, but this is the game where Jake can't allow the soft wrist shot goal that he allowed against Detroit and, kind of hang his head. And this is a huge, and Jake is a very mentally strong goalie. No matter what, he's going to be ready to play on Saturday. But to go in, I know goaltending mentally is just as important as physically. You want to see him tracking. You want to see him controlling his rebounds. You want to see that. You don't want to see, and I haven't seen in a while, flip that puck out to the circle. Remember when he used to do that all the time when he was really feeling it?
Very confident sign.
Throw it back at the guy that shot it at you. And I haven't seen it in a long time because he hasn't been feeling that way. And even when he's playing well, the team is struggling in front of him. I just want to see him feeling good and confident, and more important than anything, tracking the puck well and being ahead of things and getting across quickly. I think that's most important.
See, I've never thought that was he's throwing it back at the guy that shot him. I think he's throwing it to the faceoff dot where they're taking the faceoff. And I've asked that. Yep. Is it just the thing, like throw it? And that's his thing. Yep. And you're right. I haven't looked for that because I'm looking at all this other kind of stuff going on. Has he stopped doing that?
I haven't seen him do it in a very long time.
Okay, he hasn't made a ton of saves like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's
some of them ones, like he makes look easy. Those are the ones that have unfortunately have gotten by him, and not all because of Jake, because of coverage, guys in front of him in the sight lines, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but again, it's not real easy to get into the game 82 and get all of your confidence back and get everything put together before game 83. Yep. So we'll see.
Up next, we're going to talk about what's going on with the Nashville Predators and some other Stars things to clean up before the playoffs. And what about the captain? We'll talk about all that next year on the DLLS Pregame Show.
Sleeper is my favorite read and the best fantasy platform out there, period. Put your puck or ball knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite, least favorite, or any player will have more or less than their projected stats each week. They have almost all of the sports. NHL obviously is our focus, but they have plenty there available for you. I'll give you my picks in a second for Stars and Preds. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. If you think you have what it takes, new users can download the Sleeper app, use the code DLLS Stars to get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Apply to any contest, doesn't have to be your first. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Picks for tonight. I'm going to go with Dallas Stars forward Matt Duchene with more than 0.5 assists because he's back in Nashville, and you know Tyler Seguin is scoring in his return, and it's going to be from Duchene. That's before I even knew the lines. Then I really tried to pick some more Stars things, but there weren't any allowed. So I have Preds forward Philip Forsberg with more than 3.5 shots, 2.06 times. And as I scroll here, as you can see on the screen, all of the Stars things were blocked off for me. So eventually I settled on Nashville forward Jonathan Marchment with more than 0.5 goals because that was a big money one, 3.44 times. If all of those hit, you could win 15.37 times your money.
All right, Sam, we'll see if your record holds. I would have gone with less than 0.5 goals for Marchment, but we'll see. Guys, the Stars are on a 6-game winless skid, which is not the way you want to go in the playoffs, even if they try to sort of blow it off as being not important after they couldn't catch Winnipeg. But 0-4-2 in their last 6. The last time they won a hockey game was against the Nashville Predators at home. If they play tonight like they did in the third period of that game against Nashville, are we feeling better about things?
You could say that about any of the games that they've played in the last 8 or 10
period.
games. They've had a good period or two
Second
good
period
periods in all
against
of them.
Detroit on Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, looked pretty good.
Again, same problem. What they're hoping for is they're going to play 3 good periods. Again, Nashville can't wait to get this season over with, and you can't blame them. And it
What the hell
starts
happened?
you know what? I
We all-
don't know. We're
We're going to talk about this later. The week, lads, we all picked them.
Yeah.
I mean, did we all drink the Kool-Aid too fast in the offseason?
Well,
How
I
can
will
you
say
not?
we're not the only ones.
That's true.
I mean, I think everybody around the
Everybody.
league, because of the guys they added. I mean, Sam somehow, some way picked Marchment to be over 0.5. I mean, he's got 20 goals. Last year he had like 48. But
Listen to these numbers. The Preds lost their first 5 games of the regular season and never recovered. Think about that. 0-5, and their season was done. Now, they could have gotten back at it, but they didn't. They only had 11 wins by the Christmas break. They were below 500 because they lost the first game and the first 5. They never got to 500 the entire year.
But that's why their season sucked.
Yes.
Because they were out of the playoffs then. And
After 5 games.
You can't say that they were out, but when you talk about Christmas, they were out.
They were out.
They were
Yeah.
out. And again, they could have come back. But that, I think that's what happened. And I'm going to tell you, when I think about Stamkos, and I watched a few games, and there were pucks where he, on the power play, he's got his spot, he's got that Ovechkin spot and other things, but he didn't have Kucherov laying it in the very right spot for him. And I felt he was frustrated because he was all teed up, and then he had to adjust. And when you think back about times when you play with Kucherov and Point and all the guys that are playing there now, he puts it right where you want it.
Yeah.
And so I think that was an adjustment period for him that I don't even know if he's adjusted yet. But that's a big change for a guy that's a Hall of Famer, has got over 500 goals, and played with a guy for a long time. So I think and Marchment, same thing with Marchment. I think he was still. I think half the season was by, and he was still bitter at Vegas. I think there was that inside of him that didn't re-sign him. He wanted the 5-year deal, didn't get it, whatever. And I think it shows. I mean, he's got 20 goals this year. I mean, his last 4 or 5 years, he's in the mid 40s all the time. So
wasn't he the Conn Smythe winner?
Yeah,
that year?
yeah. Yeah,
Crazy.
and so But and again, maybe some of Nashville itself outside the building got to the guys too. I mean, it can be kind of fun there.
Fun time.
So who knows?
I wish the Stars were playing.
Not
them
that
in the first
Vegas
round.
wouldn't be fun.
Listen to this, Sam. Listen to this. The Preds are only 5 points better than Chicago. Stop right there. They are 30 points out of a playoff spot.
So you're saying
They're not even last in division, but I mean, 30 points.
That's bad. That's real bad.
They are in for a team that quote unquote won the offseason, and we all picked to be a playoff team. They are in the full on rebuild mode part of the standings.
Yeah.
They aren't in rebuild mode, but maybe they should be.
They can't, right? I mean, if they rebuild it, that means get rid of get
Starting
rid
all
of
over again.
get rid of the
Right.
guys you just got, because you got 2 guys that are
But they did ship
aging
off a couple
veteran
of young
forward.
guys.
Yeah.
And
I
they
just
got to figure
wonder-
something out.
I don't know if the coach made any adjustments during the season. And again, I think it's intimidating for guys to be there. And I don't know if Barry Trotz did what he needed to do too. I mean, he had said, we talked about this, I think, when we talked about Nashville a month or so ago. He made a comment in the summer saying, we think Nashville deserves a team that can be a little bit more exciting. Because when you think of Barry Trotz, I mean, he won a Stanley Cup, by playing a very tight system.
Yep.
and defense first and not allowing a frustrating team, basically. Well, this was just the opposite. And you had a coach that likes to coach that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't work for this particular group of players. And I just think for a while the inmates were running the asylum, and it was hard to get them back in the pen.
The Stars have one order of business besides Sagan being healthy and going and getting the line combos right and all that. It's the captain. Jamie Benn, 2 games in a row, originally credited with his 400th career NHL goal, didn't get it. His drought is now 16 games since his 399th. In that time, Austin Matthews has scored his 400th, and Leon Draisaitl is 1 goal away from 400. Obviously in fewer games and years. Those guys are on another planet in that regard. Is he going to do it tonight?
I hope he does, just to get it out of there. But I don't think it will. It's not going to be hanging over Jamie's head when he goes into that first game against Colorado, that he didn't get 400.
Wouldn't it be nice if it was from Sagan?
It'd be nice. No, you know who would be nice if it came from? Bischel.
Yeah, except for he's out of the
he's not playing. But
no, and that's Sean actually was saying after the game that Bischel seemed almost upset.
yeah, very.
Because he knew, like, he did exactly what he's supposed to do: go to the net, get his stick out, make sure the puck goes in.
Yeah, that's the one time.
Except he took it away from the captain's 400th, and obviously they lost, but didn't feel very good about that. That's tough for a rookie.
I'd love to be the fly on the wall in the room while they reviewed that goal.
Like during the first intermission.
Yeah, because we were talking about how
knowing that they don't want to take.
You're just
this
like,
away
oh
from them.
god,
Do we
it's
have to?
offside. I mean, it's on the line. It's like when Madonna tipped in that late tying goal in his last home game. I forget who they were playing. He tied it and then he scored in the shootout. Whatever, his last home game. He tipped it in and it was right at the crossbar. And I think it was Ralph and was the announcer then. He was like, if they're reviewing that, they should just not. The Stars were out of the playoffs. It was a meaningless game. That's what it felt like.
That one was harder for the officials doing the stats than the goaltender interference decision the game before against Utah, because the goalie interference is a rule.
Yeah, and
right?
it's
I
no
mean, they're
goal.
both rules, but one is, well, did he? Okay, we have to call it the standard we're calling. But is it touched millimeter over the goal line?
The reason it took so long is they were trying to find any angle
reason to not get
that showed it was all white, that there was no red, nothing touching it. They were looking at the back of their TVs, seeing if they could see through the back of the TV and find some white, tipping them on their side, because and rightly so, because it's a relevant player in the NHL, a guy that's had a great career. You know how he plays, and he goes about his business day to day. And Jamie's a blue collar kind of guy. And they want that player to, and again, it not meaning anything in a game. It's not like a Stanley Cup controversial goal. I don't know if you've ever been around any of them, but,
I've heard of a couple.
There's nothing like that. So, yeah, everybody feels bad for Jamie, and we're all hoping that it gets over with tonight. And like I said, if it doesn't, maybe it just fuels him to go off, at the most important time of the year.
Let's take a look at the lines for the Predators. I saw a great tweet earlier today. There are, I think, 11 players that are not in the lineup because of either injury or trades. that were on the opening night game between the Stars and the Preds in Nashville back in October. Of course, Scott Wedgwood started that game in his first game as a Pred. He didn't make it through the season because he's now on the Avalanche. But here we have tonight, they're going to go a little different than the way we thought. They're going to have Bunting with O'Reilly and Evangelista, and they're going to load it up again, Luds. They're going Forsberg, Stamkos, and Marchessault as the second line. LaRue, Svechkov, and Wood is the third line. And then the fourth line is Smith, McCarron, and Vrana. Thoughts about going back to the big dogs, Forsberg, Stamkos, and Marchessault all together?
I would say Stamkos and Marchessault walked into the coach's office and said, hey, we've been watching some of the video of the chances that Dallas Stars have been giving up in the last 2 weeks.
We want to
please play together. We want to go out on a high note for the season. And so I think you're going to see these guys shooting the puck. Stammer might have 8 shots tonight, and the same with Marchessault. So I do believe that when you talk about two of those players, those two guys in particular, with the careers that they've had, everything that they've won, they want to make this right. They want to make Nashville right. They want to be. I don't think they want to move or anything like that. They want to come back and redeem themselves to the fans, and to the guy to Trotz that brought him in there and gave him a different deal and all the other kind of stuff. So I just think that. I don't think that there's some players in the league that we know or we seem to know that we're like, we don't really care how that guy feels. Good. We had a bad year. These aren't two of them. These are guys, especially Stamkos. I mean, again, he's tap dancing into the Hall of Fame. He wanted to be. He wanted to stay. He wanted to stay in Tampa.
They look good again this year, don't they?
And he knows that. And I feel bad for him. I want him to finish there. I want him to finish well. And I don't even know him.
If the Lightning go on a run and they're playing Florida in the first round, they very easily could, although the Panthers are still the defending champs. How is Stamkos going to be observing that from not playing? It's going to hurt. Yeah.
It's going to hurt. I'm sure he's still
drinking on
there,
Broadway.
Right? I'm guaranteed he's still
he's probably retiring there and all
he's
that.
Staying there. And, he's probably going to be part of the organization at someday.
It would be smart if they did.
Maybe now he doesn't want to.
If it's Sours or something like that.
Yeah, so... But again, if he goes back, if he should go back, everybody loves him.
Yeah.
So he'll be fine.
Let's take a look at the defense for the Preds. And, of course, the big notable absence is their captain, the Swiss defensive stalwart that is Roman Josi. I know, Luds, that he's been out for a while, but Josi did play almost every game until the end of February. He missed 4 games back in mid-December. The question I have is, when he did come back from that 4-game absence in December and played until late February, was he dealing with something during that? Because we all know that in his peak, Roman Josi can take over games, and they absolutely miss him.
Another guy that over his career has been that kind of a guy. He came back hoping he could help them get out of the hole that they're in. And I'm sure there was all the talk about, not having him there. And again, these are quality people, quality players. And they bleed for that jersey. And he probably came back trying to do exactly what he wanted to. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was the general manager that came and said, Romy, no.
Enough.
Yeah, it's enough. You're not done. Your career's not over.
Right.
Let's
realizing
get healthy and
by the end of February, they're not making the playoffs.
Nothing's happening here. Nothing good is going to happen.
Did you think, real quick, I was just going to say, did you think we'd sit here looking at Game 82 and not see Scott Wedgwood on that list, meanwhile be preparing for potentially playing him in Game 1 of the playoffs?
But I do want to ask you about Juuse Saros. He hasn't had the year that everyone is expecting him to have, but how much is it because the team in front of him has struggled so much?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they play, as Luds has talked about it with the way the Stars have played lately. It's one thing when your team is just not that great, but it's the other when you're in the Chicago realm, which you just mentioned Nashville is, and your defensive coverage is just a mess, and you're not creating enough offensively. It puts a ton of pressure on a goalie. Saros is a very small goalie, which doesn't always come into play, but when you are running around like crazy in your own end and playing very unstructured hockey like Nashville has, it forces your goalie to move a lot. And when you're a small goalie moving side to side a lot, it opens up a lot of windows. And I think it's weighed on him. I don't know how many starts he has, but he looks like someone who's played either too many games or has too much stress in the games that he has played.
Okay, 2 things from the chat, and then we'll wrap this up and get to our watch-along, or as Luds calls it, the ride-along, even though we're not going anywhere. In the chat, most recently, I have Ardell saying that the Cosm Road Cone is our good luck charm, Stars in 6 versus the Denver Snowballs. So the question to you, Luds, is If
Want me to bring
needed,
it out?
I was
Did you
going to
return
say,
it?
if needed, would you
Huh?
bring out the cone?
Did you return it?
No.
You
He
kept
still
it.
has it.
You
So
sneaky
Is
dog.
that a
you.
game one kind of thing?
I
or
don't
is that
think
later?
they're missing a cone. Okay.
Is that later? Is that a later in the playoff round if you need it kind of luck
Is it-
charm?
should we save it for a rally cone,
Well,
or should we?
that's
just,
my
is it a-
question to
is
you.
it a- well, maybe I just need to bring it out in game one. Why wait? I can.
You as the
I
keep,
didn't realize it was that important.
They're
Third
gonna bring
period
it on
starts.
The alumni float.
as the keeper of the
So
cone.
if they're down by
you
3
get to
goals,
make that call.
if they're down by 3 goals in the second period, do I need to drive back home, grab it, and get it back here by the end of the period?
Do you put it in your car so you can go to the garage rather than drive, just in case?
Oh, you mean after games? Well,
No,
no.
this game,
No,
game
but
one.
like this one. Do you want me to go home and get it right now?
No.
Game
No,
one of-
no,
I'd be
this
more
one-
than happy to go get
I
it right
bet
now.
you would. You stay
Game-
out to the watch
game
long for about 2
83.
hours.
I'll send you. I'll
Yeah,
what do you
traffic.
call it?
Traffic
I'll-
is bad.
All right, to-
Facebook you. and
To
let you know
wrap
where
it
I'm
up,
at.
we'll see what the road cone does for the playoffs. But to wrap it up, Jason Dowdy said, if they win tonight, I'll buy the first round at the Big Apple, Lud's nose.
First round. You know the first round never really ends. Like, okay, Jason, you're on. Is that tonight or if they win tonight? I'll buy the first round.
I
What's
don't
the
know
Big Apple?
when will he be at the Big Apple.
What's the Big Apple?
We'll have to wait and see.
If you go to the Apple, you're pretty much always there.
So, Jason, you've got Lud's interest. You've got his attention. Check out our watch along.
It's on.
We're about to start we are going to be on the whole game watching with you guys. So find that over on it's a separate YouTube link. Find that. We'll tweet it out. And let's get ready, boys.
Get ready, boys.
We all silly like the mayor.